I think the last time John and I did a program, and this isn't going to sit well with you, and by the way, John has no idea that this is coming. He has no idea that this is the way that this show is going to begin, but I think the last time you and I did something was probably when the Thrashers were still in the NHL.
Careful now, cowboy. It hasn't been that long.
Hey, John, good to see you.
It hasn't been that long, but it's good to see you, brother. No, it hasn't been since since the days of Tony Herkus and Bobby Holik and the young Stapleton and Moose Hedberg. No, it has not been that long.
Ilya Kovalchuk, whatever you want to.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
I know.
Kachuk and Kovalchuk and Haas and Danny and
I know.
Well,
you're not helping yourself right now by reminiscing on your own time.
You went down this. You opened this door.
Yeah, but you're plowing through it.
Of course I am.
Good to see you. North South. We're back, and we are just going to be talking sports. Yeah, what we do, I don't know. I'm here. You're here. Remember when I sent you the graphic I did? You're like, am I going to be kind of looked at? No, you're not looking at the bad guy at all. You're not. Whatever.
I'm the heel in this.
Hey.
Elbows up, brother. That's how this goes.
This has nothing to do with any type of relation or lack thereof with these two wonderful countries.
We're not exercising my poli-sci degree, is what you're saying.
Hey, you have a poli-sci degree?
Yeah.
So do I. I don't think I ever knew that about you.
10 easy classes. I minored in communications,
okay.
And so literally it was like you minor in communications. Yeah. It was 4 classes at Florida State. You major, it was poli-sci. It was 10.
Yeah.
It's like, and I took all my junior and senior level classes my first calendar year there, so I was getting all that stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
So you could take TV shows and radio stations, practicums, and things like that for the minor, and it was upperclassman level public speaking and lower and underclassman level public speaking. The 100 and the 300 plus practicums and play-by-play and all that stuff. That was the 12 hours that I did for the minor.
It's crazy that we always don't remember really what we learned in school, but we know what we took. Because you just went off on whatever you did, and it's like it's still in the front of your mind.
Because I was sitting there with football players. I mean, it was me and the football players in all these classes. It's like we're all seniors, and we're in freshman level public speaking because it was an elective at the time.
Yeah, I get it. Well,
so what's on the rundown there, Slick?
Okay, so here we go. There's a whole bunch. We're going to get this in like 25 plus minutes, something like that. We're going to talk Jerry Jones. We'll talk about the Cowboys. Last night. He kind of is like Jerry speaks a bit like George H.W. Bush, the late George H.W. Bush.
Except, Jerry's a little faster.
A little faster, yeah.
Well, Jerry likes to kind of hear himself talk where George Herbert Walker, the Bush 43, kind of slows it down a little bit. No, you're talking Bush 41. Bush 41 is kind of like, you got to slow it down a little bit.
Slow it down. Come on. Yeah.
Talk it through. Make sure that it's going. Yeah. See, he's more like Bush 41, but don't tell an Arkansas person they sound like somebody from Texas. So that doesn't quite work in the Southwest Conference. But Jerry Jones is a faster version of Bush 41.
I'll let you deal with that if you talk about that type of thing. Yeah. We're going to talk Jerry, Bill Belichick.
No.
Yeah, I know. Sabalenka, she's on to the final at the U.S. Open. Too bad, too, Naomi Osaka didn't make it. It was a great story. She hadn't been to this deep in a major in 1,500 plus days, something like that. Anyway, she did very well. Got to the semis. We'll talk about that. I want to address the whole, when you hit a big bomb off somebody in baseball, you can do whatever the heck you want. You don't need to sit there for 10 minutes and admire it. But if you want to do something, you can do it. There's no problem. Case in point, what happened the other night in Colorado. We'll talk about the Rafael Devers home run that caused the benches to clear. Let's get things going with load management. What comes to mind when I say the word load management to you? In
San Antonio Spurs.
Right.
Greg Popovich.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that's the first thing, because you can take that load management. And what he used to do was when he had David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker.
Yep.
What you would have is games, and if he's doing like 3 games in 5 days, and it's a suicidal roadie that the league has pieced together, and the games didn't matter if they were doing an Eastern Conference roadie, and the games really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things when it came to seeding in the Western Conference, it would be like, no, they're staying home. It's load management. Yeah, they got a knock. They got this, they got that. If if Inter Miami, if Messi and friends had decided to use load management or muscle discomfort or something involving Messi and Jordi Alba heading to the
something
MLS
here.
Yeah, it's like, give me something leading in. Then you probably wouldn't have gotten the one-game suspension. So if Javier Mascherano had learned from Greg Popovich, you wouldn't have had the problems in Major League Soccer. But anyway, that's load management to me. You look at your schedule, you're like, these games really don't matter. You're sitting, and then everybody who bought the tickets that falls under assumed risk doesn't get to see David Robinson, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan because the games don't matter in the Western Conference. Proceed.
By the way, those names you listed, put Manu Ginobili. I mean, they were incredible teams, right? Anyway, when I think of load management, I think of, as you see here, Kawhi Leonard. I think of that because certainly I've been in Toronto, and when he came to the Raptors after he was with San Antonio, load management was a thing. And it is a thing in the NBA. I don't buy it. I don't think it's needed. It's not like these guys are playing every day. They don't have a lot of back-to-backs. And if you have injuries, okay, that's fine. Disclose them. But if you're just sitting out a game because, oh, you know what, it's a bit too much for this guy to run back and forth for however many minutes, I think that's a bit of a problem. But the point in all this has nothing to do with Kawhi playing basketball. So Pablo Torre came out recently, and he reported on this. And if this is indeed accurate, and again, give him a ton of credit for this because this is a bombshell. So the LA Clippers facilitated a no-show endorsement deal with Kawhi Leonard, for Kawhi Leonard, with a now bankrupt tree planting company that put $7 million extra bucks into Kawhi's pocket. And what that does, that's one part of the story. That's 1A. I think that's 1B. 1A is this now circumvents the salary cap. So the Clippers have circumvented the cap because of this fraudulent endorsement deal for load management with Kawhi Leonard. This is unreal, John, if there's legs to this. Because, I mean, I think there is legs. When there's smoke, there's fire. I can't see this not becoming something even bigger. And if this is a massive deal, which it seems to be, watch out. The NBA needs to come down heavy on the Clippers.
Yeah, Ballmer invested $50 million into the endorsement deal involving Kawhi Leonard and a company, Aspiration. Leonard gets $28 million. So basically, it was over the span of the deal, it was 4 by 7. So $28 million by the time you're done. Ramona Shelburne then sits down with Ballmer, and Ballmer says, express, I guess, some of the anger I'm feeling about what's going on. I feel some sadness for our employees. I'm mad, but I'm also sad they're going through this as well as our staff and our fans. Went to 15 minutes, came to his defense over the reporting of Torrey, and made sure to point out he believes in the rules established in salary cap. As an owner, you better say that.
You better.
And so, connection to Aspiration, Ballmer shared he was wronged in that the investment by the company has since gone bankrupt. Pablo's podcast, I don't know anything about the court documents on this, haven't seen them, and I don't know. Speculation is what it is. They conned me. I made an investment in these guys. And then Yahoo Finance Aspiration files for Chapter 11, March of 25. Joe Sandberg, the co-founder, later pleads guilty to 2 charges of wire fraud. Ballmer kept it blunt how he hopes the NBA handles the investigation. He says he hopes the league investigates to take it seriously. Then he welcomes the investigation. So Steve Ballmer gets out in front of it, which he should have done.
He should have.
From the absolute beginning. And if you, and let me bring this back to Major League Soccer as a comparison study here. Lionel Messi, in his contract with Major League Soccer, makes $65 million a year.
I was going to say $65,000 every time he touches the ball. Yeah, go ahead.
$65 million a year. Because of the salary cap, he's listed at like 22. And so what they've done is they have come up with all of these endorsement deals that are adjuncts to his contract, where he gets a piece of the action from Apple TV Plus. He gets a piece of the action from subscribers. He gets a piece of the action here, gets all these endorsement deals. And so his in-kind plus contract gets him to $65 million. And that because you have a cap to deal with. Same with the National Basketball Association. I would imagine that and this is probably the learning curve for NBA owners, that if you were to take an athlete like a Kawhi Leonard and want to sign him to bring him into your franchise, set up a deal where it is like the Messi deal, where it's contract that fits under the cap, and then endorsement stuff over the top to where you can make whatever the heck you want to make.
Sure.
And that seems to be a logical step here. If Ballmer has invested, and of course these guys are now, the guys are up on wire fraud charges. If Ballmer continues to go down this road, which I imagine he's going to, where it's like, I was wronged, all this kind of stuff. Okay, there's your plausible deniability in this case. So I'm intrigued by this. If this was something, and like I said, it was great work by Pablo Torre and his group, and it was literally pages that were being read, this whole thing. I want to see how this ends up. I want to see if anybody from the lower levels of this deal come forward and what side they end up on in this. Yeah. Is it on the Clipper side? Is it on the side of Kawhi Leonard in this? I want to see how all of this comes. I want to see how all of this fishes itself out. I want to see if this 4x7 ends up as it was, and if Ballmer thinks like he was wronged in this. Is this a lesson for owners in the National Basketball Association? If you're going to sign a dude to a deal, do some endorsement stuff on the side, learn from Major League Soccer to make sure that this is done. But this was crazy when this came across the board.
Could be a messy, back to your MLS situation in the NBA. Quickly on this, and I didn't know this until I read further into the story. I forgot about this. In fact, I don't even think I even remember. I didn't even know about it. In '99, remember Joe Smith? Joe Smith was the number one pick in the '95 NBA draft, and he signed a one-year deal with Minnesota at $1.75 million. That's it. 1 year at 1.75. So you're the number one pick. And then 4 years after that, you signed a one-year deal. At the time, he had rejected a contract, which was $80 million from Golden State a year before. The reason why? Minnesota had an under-the-table agreement with him to sign him into a series of one-year contracts at a little money that would allow Minnesota to obtain Smith's bird rights. That would give the team the right to exceed the cap to sign the player. And at the end of the third deal, they would sign him to a contract at 86. All I'm saying is this. And you and I both know this. Sports is great. We watch it, we love it, we hate it, we cheer for it, we rip it apart, whatever we do. It's a business. And as much money as these NBA owners have, as much money as these leagues have, they're always trying to do little things. So I'm hoping that this is not going to turn into a complete disaster, but we'll see.
Team forfeited 5 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Of the Joe Smith deal.
Yeah.
Forfeited 5 first-round picks to a return.
Yeah.
$3.5 million fine. Suspension of owner Glenn Taylor at the time. Recent contract voided. Bird rights stripped away.
Yep.
McHale forced to take a leave of absence.
That's huge.
Yeah. And of course it would be my Clippers that would do this. The NBA equivalent of schlep rock. If this does in fact go down this road and it turns out that Steve Ballmer has circumvented things, they're saying it could be worse than that punishment with the Timberwolves and the Joe Smith deal back in 1999.
And that was in 1999. That's crazy. I can't do the math. What is that?
26.
Oh, okay. Unreal. That is such a long time. Anyway, we'll see. Kawhi, load management. This one didn't work at all. I want to get your take on this. Rina Sabalenka is a great tennis player, right? She is now the face of tennis when it comes to women's tennis. And quite frankly, I know the guys on Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, they're faces of the men's side of things, but Sabalenka just has this something about her. And she's doing all the endorsements and all this type of stuff. Oh yeah, right. I can hear her right now from the U.S. Open screaming from last night in her last match, John. I got to say this. In Wimbledon 2025, when she played Emma Raducanu, her roar reached an incredible 113 decibels. You know what that is? That is 1 decibel below a lion's roar, louder than a car horn or a live concert. Explain to me, I get it. I haven't played tennis at that level. I never will. And when you put effort into it, when you grunt, you groan, you scream, you do whatever, yeah, you get some extra push to the shot. But John, come on. It has become, to me, a complete and utter distraction. If this is part of Sabalenka's game plan to throw her opponent off, she's doing a great job. Just let the game be loud. You don't need to scream all the time every time you hit a shot. Okay, hold on. The decibel meter is reaching. Come on. You got better than that. It's too... Hey, you remember Monica Seles. Remember Monica Seles? Yeah.
My voice can't get there anymore.
No, but I remember when she came on and she was a lefty. Her thing was to do that, but it was not near. Nobody else on tour does this, John.
I thought you were going to say jet airplane at 113.
Well, maybe she's reached that.
Which would make sense at the U.S. Open, considering that it's flight path of a JFK, I think.
I think it's a bit too much.
No. I can't imagine that you would think that it's a bit too much. When
No, not after that rant. What's the point of it? What's the point of it? Does it actually make her hit the ball harder? I doubt
Probably
it. Really?
mental.
You think so?
It gives you it's more. I would think that it's more of a mental thing. Where it's more of a mental trigger.
Yeah.
Where something like that happens. Does it make me want to do this show louder? No.
No. Let me throw one thing at you as well. You know how you have to be dead quiet before a serve, right? You have to be dead quiet, right? You can't even sniff. You can't even breathe. The whole crowd needs to just hold their breath until the thing's done. So if you're saying that that's a distraction, if the rule is a distraction then from the fans to the players, then how is Sabalenka every time she hits a shot, you're trying to distract me?
Correct.
I'm not going to do it. How is that not a distraction to her opponent, and how then can that not be the same kind of thing? You want to talk about Jerry Jones quickly in the Cowboys?
Where Sabalenka is concerned, I'm like, whatever.
I know.
You know, if it's a distraction, that's on the receiver of the serve and of the ground stroke to get around it.
Yeah.
Until there are noise ordinances in the USTA or in the WTA, then she's going to do her thing, and good luck getting around it. Wear earplugs, whatever.
Yeah, and there's no way.
I could just see competition like in the U.S. Open final wearing like Beats headphones.
Oh yeah. It's like the fans when they bring their babies to the games, right? They got these, and like that's another thing. I mean, the point of it is what? Get the kid out. That's fine. You want to go to the game? Man, I'm fired up, and this is our first show. Okay, you want to talk Jerry Jones? So they lost last night. Philly winning. NFL's underway. In case everybody doesn't know that, everyone does, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Micah Parsons thing, John. Jerry Jones, and we joked a bit about him off the top with how he speaks and all that type of stuff. But Jerry Jones, I think he said about a month ago, I could be wrong in timing, but he said at some point this offseason, getting close to training camp and all that, he said basically, and I'm paraphrasing, that he wants his team to be like a soap opera. He wants the team to be in the news for all the reasons that have nothing to do with them losing last night to the Eagles, or how bad Dak Prescott can be and how good he can look for a time in all these different moves. I think you're not focused on the team, and the team is not winning. They're not winning this season, John. They're not going anywhere, and they're not going anywhere even now because of what they did with Parsons.
They haven't gone anywhere for years.
I know they haven't.
And it is, and I think that in this day and age, I think that you have your Cowboy fans who are rabid. They always will be.
Yep.
And then everybody else who is not a Cowboy fan is hoping that you blow up. And to have that kind of attention, you want attention when you're either you get attention when you're either very good or very bad. If you're mediocre, then you've got to find ways for people to give you attention.
Yeah, I get it.
And if you're mediocre, then you go soap opera. And folks will watch. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Cowboys they're probably one of the top hate watches in the National Football League.
Oh yeah.
And it's just you're like, okay, great, you lost. How did you lose? How'd you flame out this time? You are must watch when you're mediocre because of the soap opera that's attached. If that makes any sense.
You have a team valuation at $12.5 billion. Mm-hmm. And according to Jerry Jones, this whole Micah Parsons thing did not come to be based on, quote, the mathematics. So this is what he had to say. If you look at the numbers in terms of his compensation in the next 5 years, and on August 28, Green Bay signed him to a 4-year contract at $186 million, $136 guaranteed. Jerry then says, then you look at those draft picks that we got for that. You look at what those numbers could pay to other players. You'll see about 5 of maybe the very best as you can get in the league for what one gets in Micah. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that whatsoever. If your team was in a position now where you could win, then maybe make that move if it's based on mathematics. But it's not. I don't care if you get 10 players back. It's about win now. And as you said, the Cowboys have not won in a long time. In a very long time. So whatever you want to do with this Parsons thing, what's the next move going to be? His game plan seems to be, I'm going to take away a great player because of mathematics, bring in and get compensated for different players coming in and wait. Well, the more you wait, Jerry, the better other teams get.
They had a conversation back, 3-hour meeting back, I want to say in March. They discussed numbers. You know that you're going to blow the curve on the salary per year. $40 million average a year, $123.5 guaranteed, and that's what you're looking at Myles Garrett numbers. That's what he got for the Browns 10
Mhm.
days before. And so Jones said after they left the office, they thought an agreement was done. Later the same day, Parsons ends up, you end up after that particular meeting, and then things just kind of go haywire from there. Parsons calls Steven, his son, the chief operating officer. Hey, can we do this? Can we change numbers up? Can we get the guarantee? Then Steven consults with his dad. Jerry agrees. Cowboy sources insisted they offered more guaranteed money than the 136 that was spread across 5 instead of the 4 that the Packers worked out. They said it was worth 150.
Yeah.
And then we're going to send the numbers to the agent and all this kind of stuff. And Parsons' agency has never seen the final details or structure of the deal that Jones said he cut with Parsons in April, according to a source close to Micah Parsons. And so Jones and the front office would never truly negotiate at any point. Dallas would say a deal is done. Parsons could have it if he wants it. And then you're like, then what's going on? And then Jerry's like, no, this is the way this is going to be. And Micah disagrees. And it just gets to a point of no return.
He's too much, and I never say this to his face because he's been very successful when it comes to business and the money that he has and all that. And he runs a absolutely significant franchise, not just in the NFL, but in the world when it comes to sports. Everybody knows about the Dallas Cowboys. He is way too hands-on. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the time he's going to be on the sidelines when the team's getting blown out in the fourth quarter. He's walking on the sidelines, comes down from his executive box, and he's in pads. He's got Jones on the back. He's got the helmet ready to go, and Jerry Jones slots in for a couple of plays because he thinks that he knows much more than what's happening on the field. That's going to happen. Maybe not.
Well, you'd have to have a roster of 52 to make it happen. Remember, Ted Turner, when he first owned the Atlanta Braves, he wanted to draw attention to a team that was awful, so he made himself manager for a day.
Yeah.
He did the baseball races up and down the first and third base lines, and so it's that kind of a thing. But you're mediocre and you can be better. And I understand the level of reinvestment that's there, but you go to this and you lose one of the biggest rushers in the league. And
I think he's 26, something like that.
Yeah. So it's like fourth year of a 5-year deal. So you're trying to get to the next stage. And then when Micah Parsons says, unfortunately, I no longer want to be here. I purposely stayed quiet in hopes of getting something done. I no longer want narratives created and spread to the media about me. And then everything blows up. And he'd only missed 1 game in 3 seasons. And so fans were like, pay Micah. And then Stephen Jones comes and says, we want to pay Micah too. He's got to want to get paid. What am I missing here? But it's Cowboys, they deserve their own fate. From their own circus, they deserve their own fate.
It's another chapter in this ongoing saga that is the Dallas Cowboys. Another chapter, John, in the ongoing saga of hitting a baseball and hitting a bomb, hitting a home run, and watching it for a little bit longer than you normally do, getting out of the box, admiring it. The latest chapter of that book was written not too long ago. It happened in Colorado. And Rafael Devers of the Giants was at the dish, and Kyle Freeland was pitching for the Colorado Rockies. And Devers absolutely crushed a baseball. And he looked at it. He didn't even get to first base, and the benches cleared. 2 parts to this. Second part of that, which we can talk about quickly, is I always find it excruciatingly painful to see the bullpens come jogging in from the bullpens. You're not doing anything. You're coming in to make dinner plans with the other team because you haven't talked to them yet. I remember when R.A. Dickey was with the Blue Jays, John, this is a true story. He was in the bullpen. He came in. He pulled a hamstring because he was running in for a bench-clearing brawl or whatever. Anyway, the point of all this is I have absolutely no issue whatsoever if you want to admire your home run. And it was a bomb. I have no issue of it. And I forget the pitcher, but he said last year at some point, because there was a bit of a thing going on between other players on the field outside of the pitcher and after he gave a home run. After the game, he owned it. He said, look, man, if I get beat, I get beat. And if you want to do that, go ahead. I got beat. I got to own it. I'll try to get you out next time. Just enough about it. And Matt Chapman at the end of all this, he got suspended. He came off the bench, pushed Freeland. He got suspended. I think there's nothing. I'm not saying, John, you got to spend 5 minutes, have a steak dinner and wine and have table service watching it, but just give yourself a little bit. I mean, come on.
If you're going to admire it, freedom of speech does not absolve you from freedom of consequence. So if your freedom of speech involves admiring something that you crushed, then the next time around, if Freeland is still pitching, the next time you come around, or whomever the next pitcher is, expect one in the year.
I know where you're going with that. I know.
So look,
And how many times have we seen that happen? Lots of times.
As many as you should.
Lots of times.
Seriously, there's always going to be time for a receipt. If you want to act like you've hit home runs before, you hit a bomb, sit there, you flip your bat and you go, that would be, unacceptable behavior. If you hit a bomb, you admire it, you're on a clock, you're waiting for a dinner reservation, and then you go, then expect the next time you are up that something is either going to be thrown behind you, thrown at your feet, thrown at your knees, or thrown in the ear. That's it. I mean, look, the amount of watching...
So what side are you on? Are you on the side of you're okay if you hit an absolute tank into the upper tank, you're okay to watch it for a bit?
Just understand that there will be a repercussion.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I agree.
The amount that you admire is in direct proportion of the amount
you're going to get
of payback that you're going to get the next time you're up.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Bill Belichick, and the question you see at the bottom, hey, Bill, how'd that first game go? So he made his collegiate coaching debut, and then we'll do one more topic out of this. We're running out of time.
Uh-huh.
With University of North Carolina back on Monday, and they lost 48-14. There was a TCU senior safety Bud Clark went on his Instagram Live, and I saw this, didn't see it, but I read about it to celebrate. And after he left the field, he made a dig at Belichick and, of course, his younger girlfriend, Jordan Hudson.
Yeah.
Clark said, quote, Belichick got a call for his girlfriend, he said.
Yeah, at one point the game was 41-7, and the conventional wisdom on social media was that Bill Belichick is quite familiar with number gaps that large. we're moving on to Charlotte. That's what we're doing.
I don't think, whatever, if it was anybody other than Bill Belichick, and if he didn't have a girlfriend who, how old, his girlfriend's 24, so that's a 49 year gap.
24, I think it's 49. Yeah.
49-year gap. So if this was anybody other than Bill Belichick, and if there wasn't this gap, and if there was anybody other than Jordan Hudson, with all due respect to her, this wouldn't really be an issue. This would be, team lost 48.
Mm-hmm.
And now I actually saw, too, that he's banned Patriots scouting staff from attending their practices.
That's petty.
What's that about?
That's petty.
What's that? And the consensus was that when he left New England, they left on quote-unquote good terms with Robert Kraft. That's a load of you-know-what. They both chirp each other, and they're about, combined age of 190. They're old. So you're banning Patriots staff from watching your team?
Yeah, whatever. Fine. Get over yourself. Whatever. Moving on to Charlotte.
Yeah, moving on to McDavid. Last one. So the free agent class in the NHL 2026, it is one of the most tasty ones in recent memory. But here's the thing. It may not even be that good once you sit down and you're given the menu, because the free agent class has McDavid, I'll just name a few, McDavid, Kirill Kaprizov, Sergei Bobrovsky, Jack Eichel, Artemi Panarin.
650 free agents this year.
Yeah. So that's a pretty sexy class, John. But here's the thing. You've got Edmonton with McDavid, Kaprizov and Minnesota, Bobrovsky in Florida.
Bobrovsky.
Bill Zito's going to sign Bobrovsky to a 10-year contract at nothing. Play till he's 53 like a Brad Marchand kind of deal, and they'll just keep winning cups. That's what he does. You have Jack Eichel in Vegas. They're not going anywhere. I'm not so sure about number 97.
Huh. Why so?
Well, first of all, there's a 97% chance he stays. I never give anyone 100%, but I'm using the 97 because he wears that on his back. Two things.
Previous AAVs, 12.5 on average.
Two things. Number one, in his exit interview when they were done, again, they lost the Stanley Cup to the Panthers. In his exit interview when talking about, I guess when they cleaned out the locker rooms the couple of days after, he was asked about the contract. And he essentially said, yeah, you know what, I love it here. I need to make sure it's the right thing for my family going forward and me. And then he also said, basically, if Edmonton is going to show me, if management's going to show me that they're going to continue to try to get the best team possible to play with me and around me, that is what is very important. So that was one thing. Then recently, and again, all the discussion is, looks like Edmonton's going to, they're going to talk. Nothing's done yet. I know when Leon Draisaitl signed his extension, it was late. I just don't know, John. I really don't. And this could be one of those situations where, like John Tavares didn't do it with the Islanders. Waited all year, became the free agent, signed in Toronto. I'm not saying McDavid's going to leave and sign in Toronto. My point is that this could be a situation that he's just going to wait and help us all. Help Edmonton fans for the next 82 games. If they start in October, nothing's done, and then however long and far they go in the playoffs, it's going to be a topic of discussion every day, and fans will lose their mind. They'll lose sleep. Something just tells me, yes, he probably will, but to me, it's not a slam dunk.
Right now, cap space for the Edmonton Oilers in this season is practically non-existent. $225,833.
Which is nothing.
That's nothing. You got 23 out of 23 in your active contracts, cap allocation a little over $95 million. Right now, I would anticipate that the first 4 years of the deal that Connor McDavid signs are $14 million each, because then he's on par with Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl's deal's at 14, so I would say the first 4 years are going to be averaged out. It's going to be
don't you think McDavid wants to be the highest paid in the league? He can't be on the.
Do you want help? Are you and Draisaitl going to be the two that are just going to score everything?
I totally get it. You don't have to convince me of that. Yeah.
I mean, literally, the other UFAs that you're losing: Henrique, Kasperi Kapanen, Tomasic, Podkolzin's an RFA.
Yeah.
Curtis Lazar is 30. He's a U.
Yeah.
Defenseman, after this season, literally 4 of your 7 defensemen are also out of contract. Ekholm, Wallman, Kulak, and Stecker. 4 of your 7 are out of contract. You've got to look at that. Both of your goaltenders are out of contract.
Yeah.
Skinner and Pickard, that's 3.6. You got a lot of decisions to make. Your first decision's easy, but do you want the same kind of roster to help you get back to where you once belonged, Loretta? You got to think about the bigger picture.
No, you do. And the good thing with the league these days, and it's changed, and the big reason why it's the cap is going up incrementally in the next few seasons, and it'll continue to do so. So you're going to see these players, not these big superstars like this, but a lot of guys maybe doing 3-year contracts or doing a 5-year contract. I think the days of those 7-8-year deal, again, you can only sign the 8-year contract, but that's going to be a year taken off going forward with the new CBA. But I think a lot of those days are done, John, because if it's about winning, okay, give me a 3-year stretch and let's see what we can do. If it's also about money, bet on yourself in those 3 seasons that you will put up extraordinary numbers, and then after that 3rd year, you sign another 3-year contract for more money. That's not going to hurt the team because the cap's going up. This whole cap thing, to me, is now a huge benefit for the players.
$8.5 million on the increase over the next 3 years on each. So you go from 95.5 to 104 to 113.5 to 123 in 28-29. So it's not how you navigate with the stars that is going to be the problem. It is your capologist trying to figure out the math to get all of the parts that you need to fill out your roster so you can have the depth that you're looking for to get the deep playoff run to chase after the championship. I think that McDavid's deal will probably be 4.56, if not a little bigger, because you want to be in line with Leon Draisaitl. You want to keep him happy for the remainder of his deal. 4.56 lines up at the end of that deal. Then do you do another couple down the line? Probably, at some point. But it's that $8.5 million added to the cap that helps to bring in everybody else. 1.5 of that, I would say, goes to McDavid. What happens to the other 7?
If you need a mathematician, Edmonton, to help you with this, Jerry Jones is available, because it's all about math with Parsons and Dallas with the Cowboys. We're out of time. We'll be back at some point next week. After the weekend, going to be a fun weekend. First full weekend to the National Football League. We'll talk about that. On behalf of John, I'm Ryan. Thanks for listening, watching, north south.